Welcome back to Ben Salutes, and when I was a kid, people weren't afraid to be creative. I'll admit it, I'm not normal. I'm interested in some of the weirdest things. I'm a very easily entertained person. One of the things that entertains me are old commercials. Over the years, I've heard from several TV viewers that when the commercials come on, they are angry. I'll admit it, I used to be one of them. But I feel that since people usually went to the bathroom when they came on, they never got fully appreciated on how inventive they were. So, I'm going to take the time to give old messages the attention they deserve. Here's my salute on old commercials. First, I'll start off with the statement that I'm a 90s kid. So, I was exposed to 90s commercials. In my honest opinion, after looking up commercials from several decades, I have to say that commercials were at their peak in the 90s. I just feel that the 90s commercials had the most creativity and charm than any of the other decades. And don't get me wrong, other decades commercials are great. I just think that they were the best when I was growing up. Anyway, the general reason why looking back at old commercials is great is because they remind us of the time when we were growing up. They show us how kids dressed back then, what kind of music we listened to, what gadgets were new to us, what toys we played with, what snacks we ate, and so on and so on. They are great to be used as time capsules, as well as for nostalgia. We can blast back to those carefree days of when the times were easy and the sky was bright and blue. Anyway, another great thing about classic commercials is that back then, they actually served their purpose. They were there to get you suckered into buying products, and that's exactly what they did. Their methods were to get you with a great sense of humor and sometimes give your imagination a run for its money. Unlike commercials today, they didn't just show off the product, they friggin' made the product a fantasy world. They made the products look like an escape from reality, and it was fantastic. What's also great about classic commercials is that they felt like mini movies. They introduced a plot, characters, and a resolution all in less than 1 minute. That's hard to pull off, but back then, every commercial was like that. I don't know about you guys, but that's just plain sweet. And, since the late 70s, the commercial lover's dreams has been the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is one of the highest rated events of the year, so they put a lot of time and effort into making commercials that the viewer will keep in their mind for many years to come. The Super Bowl commercials are so good, they're the only reason why a lot of people, including me, watch the Super Bowl. The power of commercials is overwhelming. Back then, commercials made for adults and commercials made for kids were great, but the best ones were the ones made for kids. Seeing as how kids have low attention spans, commercials made for kids were used to be as epic as possible to get kids' attention. And of course, it worked. Well, after giving you a rundown as to why classic commercials are great, let's take a look at commercials that I grew up with and see if I can change your mind. Check the description box for the links to the commercials I'm going to look at. This one. I remember seeing this every day when I was little. I forgot all about it until I rediscovered it just recently. Check it out. And Grandma, what big teeth you have. Well, my dear, all the better to eat you with, huh? I think somebody's hungry. Honey Nut Cheerios. Kid cereal. Kid cereal. Cereal? Oh, I hate it when this happens. Sorry, Red. Nothing personal. Oh, Honey Nut Cheerios. Is there any problem you can't solve? Now I feel just awful about that grandma thing. Ooh, yeah. Honey Nut Cheerios can't save years of depression what we'll get because her grandma's dead. What I love about this commercial is I love all the effort that was put into it. The wolf puppet is awesome, and the fact that he's voiced by Kelsey Grammer makes it even more awesome. Just an example of how awesome cereal commercials used to be. I'm obsessed with Nintendo 64 commercials, and this one is my favorite. It's great to hear Banjo speaking in English, and I love the final moment when Banjo hits the ground and Kazooie is sitting there reaction, as if to say, heck no, I ain't lifting your heavy butt up this time. It's classic and I never get tired of it. This one is just an acid trip without the acid. It shows a variety of different designed mouths, several colors, all swirling around all over the place. It messes with your mind and makes you think you live in an upside down world. It's nuts, but all ends with a great picture of delicious Pop-tarts. This is one good example as to how surreal and normal a commercial can be. another great one. Here's one from 2005, but this one has a lot of creativity as well. Remember Fruit by the Foot? It's still around, but it was awesome back then. It was the fruit snack that not only allowed you to play with your food, but encouraged it. Anyway, this commercial starts out with a chameleon lashing its tongue out while a kid is eating fruit by the foot on the beach. But then, it gets sexy. The lizard falls in love with the boy. Oh, fruit by the foot, only you can make bestiality fun. Remember when I mentioned Super Bowl commercials? Well, here's my favorite Super Bowl commercial ever. Although I don't like alcohol, nor do I ever plan on drinking it, I love how great a sense of humor a beer commercial can have. I love this one because it's so simple. Frogs just croaking out the name of Budweiser. This commercial was so successful, sequels were made. The sequels were great too, but nothing tops this. Ah, PlayStation, the console I never owned. Although I love the N64, PlayStation commercials are also very entertaining. Let's take a look at this one. This one is just creepy. Here we have Santa trying to convince a kid to want some PlayStation games for Christmas, but he just wants a bicycle. Meanwhile, Santa's elves are being taken and captured by Sweet Tooth's evil crown henchmen, and it all ends with Sweet Tooth saying, "I hate mall Santas." I love how he says that line. It's just so scary. Man, this commercial was a little dark. Let's go for a more uplifting one. Another N64 commercial. This one starts out pleasantly with a father talking to his son while peaceful music plays in the background. This should be good. However, it takes you by surprise and shows the father as a cross-dresser. The same reaction on the kid's face is the same reaction I had when I first saw this commercial. Dang! That's even more creepy than the previous one. But I'm not creeped out by the cross-dressing dad. I'm creeped out about how much Nintendo 64 games used to be. I had no idea N64 games were so expensive back then, but these are just the prices for the player's choices. I hate to see the full prices for new releases. Oh well, I'm pretty sure they were worth every penny. Anyway, this is another commercial that I love to some extent. Oh, M&M's, one of my favorite candies. I always loved the commercials with the spokes candies, and this one's one of my favorites. The M&M's are seen participating in cannibalism. My goodness. This was back when commercials weren't afraid to creep the viewers out into buying their products. However, I feel a little nostalgic for this because the blue bags used to have crispy M&Ms, which I never tasted. If anyone who's had crispy M&Ms, could you tell me what they used to taste like? I'd be glad to know. Here's one from before I was born. Ah, Disney, is there anything you can't do? This is the one that lets the viewers know about the release of Fantasia on VHS. What I love about this is the dad seems to be more happy about it than the kid, thereby proving my theory that it's only adults that can truly appreciate the magic of Disney. This is also great to remind us of what we used to watch our movies on. Back then, the VHS was where it's at, and Disney truly was full of magic and dreams. And there is my salute on commercials. I hope you enjoyed it and I got you interested in some commercials. Commercials may have been scolded and hated upon since the invention of television, but they really are underappreciated and deserve a lot more attention than they are given, because there was a lot of effort put into them and the effort is meant to be looked at and noticed. Even though there are a select group of commercials from the modern age that I enjoy, it's classic commercials from and before my childhood that I am entertained by the most. I'm Ben, and I'm signing out. I'm going to go check on the fruit by the foot tree I planted 12 years ago.